Well, good morning and welcome to Austin, Texas, which is where I am. And I know we've got another person that's presenting today, Roger Hammer, who's up in the Ohio area. So anyway, welcome to the CM First Estimating Legacy Modernization with CM evolveIT. We're going to talk about scoping and estimating today and how you can use this tool to more efficiently create estimates and documentation and details about your applications. And our company as a whole, if you've not heard of CM First or know who we are, CM First Group is headquartered in Austin, Texas. And we also have offices in Central America from a development center perspective, EMEA in France, and also in Vietnam. So we are a global presence company and have people on a pretty regular basis on calls from around the world. Our partners include Broadcom, IBM, PTC, and Fortra. We have other reseller partners that we work with as well from a technology perspective. And our presence with Broadcom is long and extensive with what we've done with the Broadcom applications. We have over 400 enterprise customers that we have helped since 2010. So we've been around and in business for a while. We've got quite a few happy customers. And next, why do people choose CM First? I will tell you, I've been with the company for a fairly short period of time, but I'm amazed at the technology folks that we have on board. Our personnel includes folks that are around legacy and long-term technologies that have been in place for years and years and years, and then folks that are dealing with AI and the newer technologies. And so it's a unique focus of people that do nothing but work with technology every day. And how do we make it better and more modern? We also happen to work with a lot of different methodologies, but DevOps and Agile are the experiences that we have and how we run in our practice. We have a very successful track record with lots of happy customers. And I am on the sales side of the house. So again, I don't think I introduced myself. I'm Roger Jipp and I'm a sales director, but I will tell you we deal with fixed bids and guaranteed fixed prices. And that is one thing that customers are very happy about. And the last piece of this, why are we here, or what do we find most of our customers are dealing with from a challenging perspective? Most of our customers have either got people that have retired, so they've been working with their legacy systems and their legacy applications and trying to figure out how to upgrade those applications, how to migrate those applications to newer technology, or in some cases, just trying to understand what that application does. And so our tool is used for that sort of investigative process. The second part of the puzzle that we deal with is documentation or lack thereof. Many of our customers have got applications and systems that literally have very little to no documentation. So understanding what's under the hood is a big challenge. And the last piece of the puzzle is we have a lot of customers that have these legacy systems and are now dealing with users or divisions or corporate changes that require them to change those legacy apps and do something different with those applications. So again, backing into this a little bit, my name is Roger Jipp, and I'm a director for CM First Group. On the call with me, and the person I'm going to turn this over to is Roger Hammer, who is he is a director for our company over services and technology, and really runs the technical side of the house. So with that being said, Roger, it's all yours.
All right, thank you, Roger. Okay, so I'm going to cover our CM evolveIT tool and how to do scoping today, but I want to start with a little bit of an overview about what is evolveIT. So evolveIT is a meta model based database with web user interface that allows you to do static analysis across your applications. We support applications on IBM I, COBOL RPG, CA2E, CA Plex, and also mainframe. And I'll be talking about mainframe today, but just keep in mind that everything I'm going to discuss with you is available for all these different platforms. So evolveIT is going to take in either a model or the actual source code. In the case of the mainframe, we're going to be talking about a COBOL application. So it's going to take the COBOL, the JCL, job procs, all the database information, and it's going to parse all that information into a metadata database. This is a graph database. If you're familiar with graph databases, they're similar to what many large companies like Google, Meta, those companies use, because they are really good at representing relationships in data. And if you're familiar, of course, with source code, lots of relationships, lots of calling relationships, lots of data relationships. So all of that information is captured very, very well within this graph database, and evolveIT provides a user experience second to none in order to interact with that information. So let's dive in. Let's talk a little bit about scoping. The area I chose today was the idea of a field length change. Many companies deal with this as you find some number right within your application. Maybe it's a customer ID or some other number where you're just running out, right? You have maybe 5 digits and you need 6 or 7. And so you'll have the need to modify a field. And what you find is these fields that need modified many times can impact quite a lot throughout your application. So in this case, we're going to talk about a business request to modify a field length. We have to identify the field related to that. We have to analyze across the application to identify all the impacts, and then we can review code and data and all the information there. And then we want to produce some kind of scoping output documentation. The first thing we're going to do, and I'm going to show you this in just a moment, but we're going to start with an Elasticsearch. So we know, what field we're looking for. So we're going to find across the application all of the functionality that uses this field directly. And then we'll go down a path there to identify all the different components within the application. And so we'll dig into that, and we'll show you how to create what we call an asset group or a project grouping of the source code, so that we can do analysis on a specific group of code rather than analyzing and dealing with the entire application. Once we scope and identify all the components related to the work that we need to do, then we can focus in just on those components. In the end, I'm going to actually use an AI-assisted approach to get more in-depth analysis. I'm going to have both a kind of a standard prompt that I'm going to start by using, and then I'm going to use an interactive approach through a chat in order to ask additional questions. So this is going to provide, the integrated AI prompting allows you to do all kinds of standard prompts, but also the interactive chat. And they're designed, of course, to support your developers during your project analysis, but also in your detailed analysis during your overall projects. Of course, the goal there is to streamline your efforts and to make sure that you spend less time analyzing and get accurate information, and more time actually making the changes in the application. And so what you'll find is evolveIT can easily cut 10 times the effort. You can have 1/10 of the effort to get the analysis, and making sure that you have good scoping and analysis obviously is critically important to your projects. The accuracy of that information is certainly critical, and can really be the difference between an on-time project, an on-time budget, or a project that has failed. evolveIT does provide that fast and accurate results, and then your developers, as I said, can spend more time on the actual changes that need to be made. So let's jump into the CM evolveIT toolset, and let's do a deep dive into scoping a project. So evolveIT always starts with a set of dashboard metrics, complexity, program complexity, a lot of different information here about the application. But what I'm going to do, as I mentioned, I'm going to jump directly into a text search, and I'm going to search for this loan amount field. And Elasticsearch is a pre-index search. You can see across, in this case, 700 or 800 programs, I've gotten my results. I've got a couple of copybooks in one program. And so, as I mentioned earlier, I want to create a group, an asset group out of these. And so I'm going to create an asset group, and I'm going to just create this group, and I'm going to call it scoping. I'm going to add these components to the group and go back to my view. From there, I want to take a look at the copybooks, because I know copybooks obviously are used more broadly. And I can see, okay, well, one of those programs that is using that copybook is the same one that I have already. So I'm going to add the other one into my asset group. And so I'm just going to go back and select my scoping group and add this additional program into the group. All right, now that I've got my group, I can actually go to my asset group functionality, and I can go take a look at my asset group. I can see what I'm working with. And so what I'm going to do is, first off, start with looking at how this grouping from a scope perspective, what's it look like? And so I'm going to start with building a diagram. I'm going to start with that copybook. I know that copybook has some relationships. And so I want to do is I want to pick the programs. Okay, I'm going to add those programs in, and we saw those before. And for each of those programs, I'm going to keep stepping backwards here. And okay, it's job procedures. There's a number of those, but I'm going to just choose one of those for each and add the job procs in here. So we're going to get a full scope of information and see how this is all related to each other. So let's add the JCL call. And we'll do the same thing for the other program. And we'll find that it's the same JCL. And I like to work this thing in vertical mode. Okay, so now we've got our job props, and we see that there are two processes here from a batch perspective using these two different programs. Now we know that each of these programs uses the field that we're interested in. So I'm going to go ahead and look the downline programs and add a few of those. And we can see we've got a number of these programs that are IO programs. I know they're there. I'm going to not include them right now. I'm just going to include the other programs providing functionality that we want to see. And then the same thing for the other program here. And it's just one additional program. So now we have a nice full scope. We've got our batch process with two different calls through from the batch job through the job props, and identifying the two different programs and their subprograms that are executing. The nice thing is, obviously, just starting with that copybook, I was able to build out a full scope here to see what's included. With this, I can copy this and place it into a document. I can export this information to a JSON file or CSV. Also, I can send it out to a draw.io file format. So if I want to edit this information, I have the ability to open this program, this drawing in draw.io and add or change it in some way that's helpful to me, or to be able to communicate to my management. All right, so now we have a diagram showing us our scope. I'm going to go back now to our scoping asset group, and I'm going to jump into our AI workbench. So I'm going to change to start out from chat mode to built-in prompts. And you can see we have a number of prompts. There's categories of prompts. We can do explanations of code, data lineage analysis. All these different types of analysis are available to us through our AI capabilities. Excuse me, I'm going to pick a particular one of these, and I have built a prompt here for a field length change. And so I'm going to go ahead and run that. And we're going to see we have an agent-based process that's going to begin doing some really basic work here. So it's found the copybook, it's found the programs, and it's going to ask me now, do you want me to do the additional analysis? So I'm going to move to chat mode, and it's saying, do you want me to analyze the code? Data definitions, yes. And so it's going to walk through this process of analyzing each of these code elements and providing me the feedback that I need. And we're going to continue with the analysis. Try to get it typed correctly. All right, so now we'll begin to work through each of these programs, the copybooks, and we'll begin to get that field information. So, really, really quick and helpful information about how this field, this loan amount field is used. We see the downline, in this case, a docu-merge record, an annuity letter record. And so it's giving me not just the field that I initially need to change, but also the other downline fields that are going to be impacted by my analysis. So we've got some additional usage and logic information, summary information. It's going to tell me about this field. It's 12 characters, and it may involve interest, withdrawal, administrative changes, things like that. So do you want me to go deeper? Yeah, I want to go all the way down to the programs. So again, I mentioned this is an agent-based AI analysis, so it's very interactive. It's not just focused on source code. It's actually using the metadata that we have already pre-parsed in evolveIT, and so it's got very accurate information about relationships of data and all the different components within the application. So there's some additional information about field, how it's defined. Again, that merge record. And in this case, it's talking about that output structure and how it's used. Finishing up here, right, it looks in and it's identifying those two copybooks that we identified initially. And so we're getting a full set of information that we can use to complete this analysis. All the documentation you need, including the diagram that we produced. We've got the information for how this field is used and where it's used, the downline impacts, and all the different components within the application that we were able to scope, document, and now we can just literally copy all this information into our documentation. And even if we want to go, we can even drill down if we want and see what it was doing in the process of each of these steps, what it was looking at, what source code it was reviewing. And so we can make sure that everything we want included is available in our analysis. Okay. All right, so now we're going to produce some documentation giving us everything we need here. All right, so we've been able to produce an overview, field definition details, impacted program information, physics logic considerations, and technical considerations for that field length, and then some recommendations for the change process. All this is very helpful information to getting to the results that we need. One other thing I will just show here real quickly is also a view of the specific program, and using a built-in prompt, I'm going to request a explanation of this particular program so we can get a more in-depth understanding overall on how this what this program does and how it works. All right, so we can do this with any program within evolveIT, and again, just copy that data out of the application and utilize it. Of course, we've got a view of the source code also available. All right, now back to our diagram. We've built the diagram, we can capture that diagram, and we have all of the AI results that we need in order to make the change for this particular application. All right, if you have any questions, feel free to put them into the questions option on the GoToWebinar, and we'll answer those questions. If you get them entered a little bit late, then we'll make sure to get back to you once the webinar is over. All right, let me go back to webinar here. So we've got our demonstration, and I'm going to call Roger Jip back into the call to wrap us up.
Okay, thank you, Roger. So, we spent a bit of time there discussing a number of key features around the evolveIT product set and what we're doing for applications. A key piece that we're also starting to introduce in is what we're doing around AI and how that's helping us to better automate and simulate processes and do things with our technology. One key thing I will tell folks as well is that we do have a broad set of industries that we cover. So out in the business development world, I'm constantly working with different companies that are either financial services or tech services or travel, transportation, logistics, all kinds of things that we're involved in. And healthcare is even a big space for us. So if you have any questions about industries that we cover or specific sorts of applications that we have interactions with, and we're also still doing a lot with the Plex and TUI and sign-on world as well. So with that being said, you've got my email addresses there, my phone number. Please feel free to follow up, and then Raj and I will be available for questions if you forward those into us as well.
So Roger, we didn't get any questions yet, but one question that we have often, and I'll go ahead and address here.
Okay.
Is, how can a customer get access to evolveIT? So obviously, contact Roger. We'll be glad to have a call with you and talk through the full process. But we have two options for setting up the tool. One is if you have a project and you're moving forward quickly, we have a cloud option, which we can set up for you very, very quickly, since that doesn't cause you to do any new IT setup with new servers or anything. So we can work with you to get your source code, get it all through the discovery process and into a cloud implementation that you would be able to work with very quickly, as a matter of days. It also, of course, you can have an on-premise installation where you set up your own server and we work with you to get it set up and everything installed and your database built on site. So both of those options are available, and either one are certainly used by many of our customers. So contact Roger and we'll follow up on those with you.
Okay, sounds good. Well, everybody have a great day, and thanks for attending, and let us know how we can help you. Take care.